Hi, we're back and we're reading The 100 Dresses. This chapter is called The Letter to Room 13. And it starts with a picture that looks like that. So let's get reading. On Saturday, Maddie spent the afternoon with Peggy. They were writing a letter to Wanda Petronsky. It was just a friendly letter telling them about the contest and telling Wanda she had won. They told her how pretty her drawings were and that now they were studying about Winfield Scott in school. And they had asked her if she liked where she was living now and if she liked her new teacher. They had meant to say they were sorry, but it ended up with their just writing a friendly letter, the kind they would have written to any good friend. They signed it with lots of X's for love. They mailed the letter to Boggins Heights, writing "Please forward" on the envelope. The teacher had not known where Wanda had moved to, so their only hope was that the post office knew. The minute they dropped the letter in the mailbox, they both felt happier and more carefree. Days passed, and there was no answer, but the letter did not come back, so maybe Wanda had received it. Perhaps she was so hurt and angry she was not going to answer. You could not blame her. And Maddie remembered the way she hitched her left shoulder up as she walked off to school alone, and how the girls always said, "Why does her dress always hang funny like that? And why does she wear those weird high-lace shoes?" They knew she didn't have any mother, but they hadn't thought about it. They hadn't thought she had to do things on her own, like washing and ironing. She only had one dress, and she must have had to wash and iron it overnight. Maybe sometimes it wasn't dry when it was time to put it on in the morning, but it was always clean. Several weeks went by, and still Wanda did not answer. Peggy had begun to forget the whole business, and Maddie put herself to sleep at night, making speeches about Wanda, defending her from great crowds of girls who were trying to tease her with, "How many dresses have you got?" Here's the picture of them and the postman. Before Wanda could press her lips together in a tight line the way she did before answering, Maddie would cry out, "Stop! This girl is just a girl, just like you are." And then everybody would feel ashamed the way she used to feel. Sometimes she rescued Wanda from a sinking ship or the hooves of a runaway horse. "Oh, that's all right," she'd say when Wanda thanked her with the dull, pained eyes. Now it was Christmas time, and there was snow on the ground. Christmas bells and small tree decorated the classroom. And on one narrow blackboard, Jack Beggles had drawn a jolly fat Santa Claus in red and white chalk. On the last day of school before the holidays, the children in Peggy and Maddie's class had a Christmas party. And here, she's saving her from the horse. And there's Santa that Jack drew. The teacher's desk was rolled back and a piano rolled in. First, the children acted the story of Tiny Tim. Then they had sung songs, and Cecil had done some dances in different costumes. The dance called Passing of Autumn, in which she whirled and spun like a red and golden autumn leaf, was their favorite. After the party, the teacher said she had a surprise, and she showed the class a letter she had received that morning. Here is a picture of Cecil doing her dance. "Guess who this is from?" she said. "You remember Wanda Petronsky, the bright little artist who won our drawing contest? Well, she has written me, and I'm glad to know where she lives now because I can send her medal. I hope it gets there before Christmas. I want to read her letter to you. The class sat up with sudden interest and listened intently to Miss Mason as she read the letter. Dear Miss Mason, how are you in room 13? Please tell the girls they can keep those 100 dresses because in my new house, I have 100 new ones all lined up in my closet. I'd like that girl Peggy to have the drawing of the green dress with the red trimmings and her friend Maddie to have the blue one for Christmas. I miss that school and my new teacher doesn't not equalize with you. Merry Christmas to you and everybody. Yours truly, Wanda Petronsky. Drew a little picture there. The teacher passed the letter around the room for everybody to see. It was pretty, decorated with pictures of a Christmas tree lighted up in the night in the park, surrounded by high buildings. On the way home from school, Maddie and Peggy held their drawings very carefully. They had stayed late to help straighten up after the play, and it was getting dark. The houses looked warm and inviting, with wreaths and holly and lighted trees in their windows. Outside the grocery store, hundreds of Christmas trees were stacked, and in the window, candy peppermint canes and cornucopias of shiny, bright, transparent paper were strung. The air smelled like Christmas, and the bright lights everywhere reflected different colors on the snow. The colors are like the colors in Wanda's 100 dresses, said Maddie. Here's the picture. Yes, said Peggy, holding her drawing out to look at it under the street lamp. And boy, this shows she really liked us. It shows she got our letter, and this is her way of saying that everything's all right. And that's that, she said with finality. Peggy felt happy and relieved. It was Christmas, and everything was fine. I hope so, said Maddie sadly. She felt sad because she knew she would never see the little tight-lipped Polish girl again and couldn't ever really make things right between them. She went home and she pinned her drawing over a torn piece of pink flowered wallpaper in her bedroom. The shabby room came alive from the brilliancy of the colors. Maddie sat down on the edge of her bed and looked at the drawing. She had stood by and said nothing, but Wanda had been nice to her anyway. Tears blurred her eyes and she gazed for a long time at the picture. Then hastily she rubbed her eyes and studied it intently. That's a picture. The colors in the dress were so vivid. She had scarcely noticed the face of the head on the drawing, but it looked like her, Maddie. It really did. The same short blonde hair, blue eyes, the wide straight mouth. Why, it really looked like her own self. Wanda had really drawn this for her. Wanda had drawn her. In excitement, she ran over to Peggy's. Peg, she said, let me see your picture. What's the matter? Asked Peggy. They clattered up the stairs to her room where Wanda's drawing was laying face down on the bed. Maddie carefully lifted it up. Look, she drew you. That's you, she exclaimed. And the head of the face of the picture did look like the auburn-haired Peggy. What did I say? Said Peggy. She must have really liked us anyway. Yes, she must have, agreed Maddie. And she blinked away the tears that came every time she thought of Wanda standing alone in that sunny spot in the schoolyard, close to the wall, looking over at the group of laughing girls after she had walked off, after she had said, sure, 100 of them, all lined up. The end. I hope you liked that story. I think it has a great message, and I think the characters learned a lot from the beginning to the end of the story.